George Clooney and Brad Pitt's new movie, Wolves, is on Apple TV Plus September 27th.
That's where I want you to be now.
So if you want to see George Clooney and Brad Pitt, go to Apple TV Plus.
You got to start the story there.
Or if you want to see Brad Pitt and George Clooney, go to Apple TV Plus.
I am enjoying the show.
And if you want to see their new movie, Wolves,
You can't do it, I'm going to help you out. I can do it, so do it.
definitely go to Apple TV Plus.
Admit it, it's cool. Okay, fine, it was very cool.
Wolves, streaming September 27th on Apple TV Plus. Rated R.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
This episode is brought to you by Microsoft Azure. Turn your ideas into reality with an Azure free account. Get everything you need to develop apps across cloud and hybrid environments, scale workloads, create cloud-connected mobile experiences, and so much more. Discover what you can create with popular services free for 12 months. Learn more at azure.com. That's AZURE.com. And sign up for a free account to start building in the cloud today.
What's good, boys and girls? Welcome to Two Footed Extra on Wednesday, September 17th. Hope you're all well. But today we are once again beginning with bad news. Salvatore Schillaci, better known as Toto, the hero of Italian 90, the Golden Boot, Golden Ball winner in the 1990 World Cup, has passed away today at the age of just 59. He had been suffering from colon cancer and was admitted to hospital a couple of weeks ago, and he passed away this morning. Schillaci had one of the strangest careers you'll ever see, where he spent years toiling in the lower leagues in Serie C2, Serie C1 for 3 years, Serie B for 3 years, 7 seasons with Messina. And at 24 years of age, he was just seen as a good Serie B player. Then he has an incredible season with Messina in Serie B, scores 23 goals in 35 games in the league, 25 and 39 in all competitions, and earns a move to Juventus. And at Juve, he has one fantastic year. He scores 21 and 50 in all competitions. And he earns a call-up to the Italian national team. He'd never been capped before. Gets capped for the first time in 1990. And he goes into the World Cup and he scores 6 goals. And not only does he score 6 goals, he scores in 6 different matches. Now, it's very rare for someone to win the Golden Boot in the World Cup doing this. Most times, it's a player that scored 2 or even 3 in one game. But this was a guy scoring in 6 different matches. And in some ways, carrying an Italian team that seemed a little bit overwhelmed by the pressure of the tournament. Because they were the hosts. They were expected to do really well. Obviously, they won the World Cup in 82. There was a clamour that they should win it again. And the team struggled. The team did not live up to the billing. You look at the games they play Austria, he gets the only goal of the game. Then they play the United States. He doesn't score. It's the only game he doesn't score, and they beat the USA 1-0. And the USA at that point were seen as a complete pushover. They played Czechoslovakia in the last game. That game is most remembered for Roberto Baggio's incredible solo goal, but it was Schillaci who'd opened the scoring on 9 minutes to send them on their way. We go through into the knockout phase. They play Uruguay. They beat them 2-0. He gets the opening goal. In the quarterfinals, they play Ireland. He gets the only goal of the game. In the semi-finals, They play Argentina. He puts Italy 1-0 up. They end up losing and going out on penalties. And then they play England in the third place playoff. They go 1-0 up through Baggio. David Platt equalises. He wins it for them. Not only did he score 6 goals in 6 different matches, every single goal was a go-ahead goal. Every single goal he scored mattered. He wasn't scoring the third goal in a 3-0. He wasn't stat padding the way we see with others. Every single goal meant something. That is one of the best, if not the best, goal-scoring runs at a World Cup. Others have scored more. I would argue nobody has scored as many impactful goals. I'd be stunned if there's anybody who has scored 6 go-ahead or match-winning goals. But he did. And what's crazy is, the following year, he struggles with Juve. Then he struggles again. Then he gets sold. He goes to Inter Milan. He struggles with Inter. He goes to Japan. Struggles there to begin with. Catches form. Smashes goals left, right and centre. And then, by 97, he's retired. He never played for Italy again after 1991. He scored 7 goals for Italy in total. 6 at the World Cup and 1 in a Euro 1992 qualifier in a 2-1 win. No. 2-1 defeat. 2-1 win. He scored the winner, I think, in a 2-1 win. Or was it a consolation goal? It might have been a consolation goal in a 2-1 defeat. I'm not going to check it now. Either way, his career is defined by that World Cup. His club career is long. He plays from 1982 up to 1997. That's 15 years. It's 16 seasons. It's impressive. Not taking anything away from him. But his club career is nothing to really shout about. That one season with Juve, the first season, 21 goals in 50 games, is the only time he actually performs consistently well at the elite level. He had a really good season in Serie B. He had a couple of really good seasons in the J League in Japan. But at the time, it was still relatively new to everybody from outside of Japan. Stars were starting to go over there because the money was on offer, but it wasn't seen as a highly competitive league. It's that one season with Juventus, and it's that World Cup. It's August 89 to July of 90. That defines his career. And yet, he is someone that is iconic because of it. Absolutely iconic because of it. He will always be remembered because of that World Cup. Not even the goals. The goal he scored against Ireland will be burned in my brain forever. Without going and watching, I couldn't describe any of the goals. And I've watched that World Cup 4 times, start to finish, all the way through. And I couldn't tell you what the other goals are like. But I could tell you what he looked like celebrating. Rest in peace, Toto. Far too early to go. Stoke have a new manager. They have appointed Narcis Palash, a coach from Norwich City, as their new manager. He is a 36-year-old Catalan, and he replaces Steven Schumacher. He had previously worked under Carlos Corberán at Huddersfield, then moved to Norwich, where he worked under David Wagner and the current Norwich manager, Johannes Hoff-Torup. He will be joined by 3 new backroom staff, Dean Whitehead, Paul Clements, and Harrison Glue, who's a performance analyst, sorry. Paul Clements is certainly a really good second to have. He's worked with Carlo Ancelotti at multiple clubs. He's highly regarded. So that's certainly an interesting one. He had been at Everton, I think, under Frank. He's been out of work since leaving Everton. He's been a manager in his own right. It hasn't gone particularly well. I did okay at Derby, to be fair. Did okay at Derby. Did not do particularly well at Swansea. Was flat out bad at Reading and Cercle Bruges, but he is known as an excellent number 2. So I think that's intelligent. He's 52. He's well experienced. He's been coaching for 20 plus years. Makes a lot of sense. But it's a big gamble going for an unproven manager in his first job when you've just sacked one of the most highly rated young managers in England, and now you're going for an even younger, far less experienced coach. I know he's highly rated, and I know there's been other clubs who've been suggested, has been interested, but we'll see. We'll see how he does. I'm looking forward to seeing whether he tries to bring a certain style of play to Stoke that might be completely against what we're used to from Stoke. I did a Stoke nostalgia spot a couple of weeks ago, talked about how they can often be a little bit agricultural, and that was kind of what they were at their best. But this is a gamble. So apparently he did manage a club called Peralta and a club called Figueres. They are lower league teams. I'm guessing they are... Figueres looks like they might be a kind of a non-league job. Yeah, they play in the 6th tier of Spanish football. They play in a Catalan-specific league. And Peralta, where do you play? You play in the 5th tier. The 5th tier. You are, again, a Catalan club. 2 very small clubs. I think there's non-league clubs in England that are considerably bigger than them. So this is a huge step up because this is a big club. Stoke City are a big club, whether people like to admit it or not. Moving on then. Khadija Shaw has been ruled out of Man City's Champions League qualifier against Paris FC after the club failed to file for a visa application. She requires a visa, I think, because she is Jamaican. There's a really good piece on the BBC website written by Emlyn Begley, who's very, very good, on Gaisca Mendieta. I would encourage everybody to go and read that piece and then go and watch some Mendieta highlights. One of the most enjoyable players to watch of the last 30 years, really. Just a very... Alexis McAllister reminds me quite a bit of him. Now, Mendieta was more of a wide player, had a little bit more pace, not a ton more, but crafty, clever, always making the right decisions, always on the move, head always on a swivel. Mendieta reminds me, or Alexis reminds me quite a lot of him. Go and watch some Mendieta highlights. Scotland has the highest per capita crowds of any league in Europe, any country in Europe. More people attend top flight football matches in Scotland than any other country in Europe as a proportion of their population. On average, just over 18 out of every 1,000 people in Scotland attended Scottish Premiership matches last season. The next highest was the Portuguese Premier League at just over 10 per thousand. So that's pretty good. The Dutch Eredivisie and England's Premier League were 3rd and 4th. 3.8 million people attended games in Scotland last season, the 8th highest in the whole of Europe, an average attendance of 16,500. That's really good. Good for the future of Scotland, hopefully. Andy Carroll has signed for Bordeaux in the French 4th tier after leaving Amiens. Not really sure why he's left Amiens. He'd started the season playing for them, but, you know, he's decided to move on and on to Bordeaux, which is a historic club in need of help. So hopefully he does well. Roma have made a bizarre decision. They've sacked Daniele De Rossi after only 4 games of the new season. That will go down like a sack of shit with Roma fans who were furious about Mourinho being sacked. He was hired largely to pacify them, then did really well, and now they've sacked him. It's just very strange. especially given they backed him fairly significantly in the summer. I know they haven't started well. 3 draws and 1 defeat. It's only 1 defeat, though. It's only 1 defeat. I'm not really sure. 3 draws and 1 defeat. I'm not really sure why they've made that decision, but they have. And so be it. I'll be back after the break with the gossip.
A great workout deserves a great reward. Treat yourself right with new coconut smoothie bowls made with fresh fruit, purely Elizabeth granola, and now creamy coconut. You earned it. Grab a treat you can feel good about, only at Smoothie King.
Right, welcome back. So, this one is regurgitation of yesterday. Real Madrid are targeting Rodri, Trent, William Saliba, and Christian Romero for next summer. That's according to Miguel Delaney in The Independent, so take it as you wish. Man City are well placed to sign Jamal Musiala. Real Madrid will move for Alexander Arnold, having been in contact with his agents for several years. Do you know how I know that's lies? Because he doesn't have agents. He has an agent, his brother. Manchester United face competition for Karim Adeyemi from Newcastle and Liverpool. I can guarantee you that they don't. Newcastle are among a host of clubs interested in Angel Gomes. Talented player. He's had a contract at the end of the season. I could see the logic in it, but I don't think he fits in how Newcastle play at all. West Ham and Manchester United are keen on Leon Goretzka, who was unhappy after losing his place at Bayern Munich. Well, if you were playing better, you wouldn't lose your place. Everton see Jordan Pickford as one of the most important players and have no plans to replace him with Nick Pope. That shoots down the rumours we've been seeing for a couple of years, or couple of days. Anthony Martial is closing in on a move to AEK Athens. It's a good move. I like that move for him. Now, some people, and I think rightly so, will point out that at 28, he would be hoping to go to a top club in the top league, but his career hasn't panned out. But don't worry, Man United paid him fortune, so he's fine. Arsenal and Newcastle could move for Leroy Sané, who's reportedly unhappy at Bayern Munich. I'd imagine it's more down to the fact that he's at a contract next summer. I don't think he's necessarily unhappy. And if he is, it's probably from reports on Caught Offside, who are also giving us this story. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Wolves and West Ham are huge admirers of Red Bull Salzburg's 24-year-old French defender, Omar Saleh. Now, I read a story the other day where he is having his contract terminated. Yes, it's actually a story from them themselves on the Red Bull Salzburg website. They have terminated his contract by mutual agreement. That's a player that was worth somewhere between 12 and 15 million. He's very talented. Now, he has had some injury issues in the past, but he's a very talented defender, so I wouldn't be surprised if a Premier League club does snap him up. Liverpool want a defensive midfielder and a left-sided central defender in January. These are what they needed in the summer, but the left-sided central defender is actually to play left-back. And hopefully they get those things done in January. Bournemouth, Fulham and Wolves are interested in Joel Matip. I'd recommend Fulham. I don't think he gets enough games at Bournemouth, does he? Coming off an ACL? Maybe he does. He'd certainly be a good mentor for the 2 young centre-backs there. Tottenham are planning to offer Christian Romero a new contract to deter interest from other clubs. And finally, Arsenal are keeping tabs on Jonathan David, who's at a contract next summer. That would be smart. Arsenal could do with a goal-scoring 9, a poacher type. They don't have that. Havertz is a false 9. He's a 10, really. And Jesus is kind of a second striker more than anything. So a poacher type would fit Arsenal, and he's on a free, which would fit within what Arsenal are able to spend on players, given how much they spent in recent years. So yeah, could see that happening. And that's me for today. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
This NFL season, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get 3 weeks of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So if you've got a hunch, you can watch it come to life live, like a Vibe Hunch.
I don't like the way the quarterback is warming up. I don't like the way the running back is warming up. I definitely don't like the way the punter is warming up.
Put your hunch to the test this season with FanDuel. All customers bet $5 to get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Plus, new customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. New customer offer. First online real money wager only. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets expiring 7 days after receipt. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. NFL Sunday Ticket offer from YouTube and YouTube TV ends 9/22/24. After 3-week free trial, the full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment.